The lion's share of my work has been in urban communities, serving children and families of color, primarily low income. But I've also had the opportunity to work in perhaps one of the wealthiest communities in the nation. And the stresses may be defined and play out differently from the poorest of the poor, most highest concentration of poor children, children of color, and that in a mirror of high wealth, white children. But the stresses are just different. What I learned is that the spectrum of children in our schools today have strong needs to be supported in ways that maybe we haven't thought about always. I mean, the narrowing of the curriculum to test-oriented focus and concentration, and forcing out character education and making it difficult to see how we can integrate social and emotional learning experiences into a really busy, packed, test-oriented, pressure-bound kind of curriculum for kids, whether urban or suburban or rural. It's become a straitjacket. Academic performance being very, very key, but not understanding that in order to get the best academic performance of kids, that we have to have kids who are socially and emotionally fit to persevere in rigorous academic programs. Pre-K through 12. Our script-based approach to standards-based reform was not working. The culture of classrooms, the culture of schools, the relationships between students, student to student, student to teacher, teacher to student, the kind of tension that existed, the amount of engagement and conflict resolution that adults had to attend to in order to create and manage actually the environment, just led us to a way of thinking about how do we achieve our academic goals that require people working together, transferring responsibility, students taking on responsibility, teachers releasing control of the learning environment, and then students working with each other, giving and receiving feedback. Well, that just led us down the road to looking at social emotional learning and how it fit into our academic program goals to introduce rigor. A richer educational experience, a more rigorous academic program would require not only people who are well-versed in their content, but teachers well-versed in creating classroom environments that transfer control and responsibility and engagement to students, and then helping the students then to learn the set of competencies to persevere in a rigorous academic content. So social emotional learning and the competencies matched up right with our academic expectations for learners. We decided early on that we needed full base of participation, that we needed teachers and social workers and guidance counselors and principals and curriculum coordinators and parents and union people and security guards. As superintendent of schools, I was chief leader, chief teacher in the organizational structure, emotionally intelligent leadership is not something that I always knew. I come from being very judgmental, very regimented, very hierarchical, very blaming, very impatient, very persistent. You can only be in some places some of the time. And the kind of work that needed to be done to really care for and develop it in the children we were responsible for, you had to have more commitment than a compliance-oriented, authoritarian-driven, hierarchically organized, top-down approach. That you had to have. If we really were going to get this work done, it would take a different type of commitment from many people that that I was not able to create or generate, because I was not the type of leader that supported that coming from people. And so I had to change. And so social emotional learning, character development, the epiphany came when I realized that I needed to rethink who I am, what my inner core tells me about, what I knew that I had to confront in order to become a more able leader in an organization that was had some very ambitious goals for children. Not only my walk, but all of us, the walk had to match up with the talk. If there were incongruent behaviors and beliefs or practices between what we talk as the right way to be and the right way to do this work and our walk, then we were acting in a way that had a debilitating impact on our ability to achieve our goal of educating all of our kids to be successful not only in school but in their community. It was full-time 24/7 responsibility that I didn't just own alone, but what we owned as a community responsible for these children.
I'm guessing that given the circumstances that you're describing, that your introduction and passion for SEL and for this work wasn't greeted with open arms by everybody. How did you sell the product?
Well, with a great deal of difficulty. When we got out the box with this idea of integrating social emotional learning into our standards-based reform efforts, right away, 33% of our teachers said, "No way. This is just this month's flavor of reform." It was viewed as disruptive to our literacy focus, disruptive to our math focus, and teachers and principals and even some of my colleagues in the central office thought that this would be something that should be resisted and not embraced. And that was our beginning. And what we invested in was learning, sharing knowledge, providing experiences, listening to people, and then being very clear about why this direction and what our commitment is to the academic continuity in our academic program, but the really close connection of this work to our academic goals. We needed everyone on board.
Yeah.
And we understand one thing about change is that you're going to have so many people who are going to resist, so many people who are going to be early adopters, and then you have a bunch of people in the middle. We decided not to throw anyone off the bus, that resistors were people that we were as concerned about as early adopters. And we had the opportunity working with Maurice Elias from Rutgers University, professor of psychology, who is renowned in the business of social emotional learning, as a coach, as my coach, as our leadership coach, to help us think through ways of reaching people wherever they were on the continuum of acceptance or resistance. we really paid a lot of attention to what we were hearing from people who were not certain, and took on the responsibility not to judge them, but to create ways to develop awareness, to provide information, and then to provide high quality support, which the high quality support was, I think, what really helped us turn the corner on gaining the support for implementation. SEL, social emotional learning, is not peripheral. It's not an extra. It's not optional to the work of a school district and a classroom teacher and a school superintendent. I encourage people to really look at their leadership journey and to get in touch with their inner core. Who are they? What are their values? What are their beliefs? What do they think is the high leverage ways to achieve success for all students? All means all, and be willing to be the principled, emotional, intelligent leader that our schools need all of the time, 24/7, 100% of the day, no matter what comes at you. Take 100% responsibility for the problem, 100% responsibility for the solution. Judge not. If you're going to judge who you see in the mirror.